Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, there's a lot of stuff going on in the news right now, and we're going to get to some of that here in a minute. And on top of all of that, it's a message of just we've got to get ready. I know I'm a repeating record around here. It's like someone get this guy off of on a different subject. I do make other videos, I promise you, but this is very important. The things that are happening around us are moving very rapidly, and we're watching things happen quite quickly, and the odds and the chances that you and I are going to start feeling some pretty serious repercussions of all these things that are happening domestically and internationally are ever increasing. And so we have to get serious about this, folks, and we have to get ourselves prepared. And so that's why here lately I've been pushing this so hard, because we're not where we once were. Okay, I mean, we have to come to grips with that. We're not in a place that, we've got plenty of time to stock up. We've got plenty of time to get ourselves prepared, to get where we need to be more self-sufficient. We don't have plenty of time to build our communities anymore. We have to increase the rate of our preparedness, because the world has increased their rate of control and authority. Just as of the making of this video, I was seeing that Vladimir Putin in Russia has announced that he is going to be signing a decree here soon, supposedly here within the next few hours, I suspect, recognizing the independence of that rebel-controlled eastern part of Ukraine. Already, Germany and France has responded and said that they're very disappointed in this. They've said that this is a breach of peace, and that this goes against what the agreements are with NATO, and that NATO has already pledged in the past that if this was to happen, that the sanctions would come down pretty harsh and severe on Russia, as well as America being involved in those sanctions. So does that mean that a declaration of war has been issued? Is that akin to that? No, not necessarily. But it does mean that we've taken, or they have taken, a very large step into that direction. I don't think that this is going, I could be wrong, but I don't think that this is going to play out like it did back in 2014 with Ukraine, where basically the rest of the world just kind of let it happen. I think we're going to see a much more forceful resistance from NATO and the United States in this. To what extent, I can't tell you. And how will it play out? I don't know. But I do think that we are getting closer to that strong possibility of an actual war. And as we've all said, if that happens, and I understand it's still a big if, but if that happens, that could mean very, very easily that we are involved in a global war, which would not play out very well. We are already dealing with a broken down economy here. It was said by JP Morgan this week that they predict that the Fed will raise interest rates around 9 times over the next year. And other financial institutions are maybe not saying that high, but they're saying 2, 3, 4 times. If the interest rates get raised very much, it's going to cause the stock market to crash, most likely, and it could spiral us into not even a recession, but a depression. It could, I mean, it's teetering on that place of causing a complete economic crash. And so that's another thing to watch. Food, as we talk about all the time, is something that's in jeopardy right now. Prices have skyrocketed. You all know that, and they're going up even more, and they're going to go up even more. Russia has cut off the world from its supply of fertilizer, and it's one of the biggest. That's where everyone's really getting it. And right now, in a lot of parts of the country, farmers are starting to plant, or they will be in the coming weeks. And there's a huge shortage of fertilizer. I've been hearing reports from big farms saying that they're just going to try and plant without and see how things go. Now, I'm not an advocate of using fertilizer. We do everything organically here on the homestead. But for big corporate farms that feed a large amount of the American population, If they're not using fertilizer, it could mean little to no, or at least, at the very least, conservatively speaking, a greatly reduced harvest this year. So watch out for that. And then, of course, there's up there in Canada. I mean, it's not getting any better up there, folks. Trudeau announced that even though the blockades have been lifted and that they're kind of getting the things under control, at least in their perspective, that the National Emergency Powers Act, or whatever it is, basically the martial law that he's declared in that country, is going to stand. And he's not taking any questions about it. It's just, I'm the dictator now, and you don't need to question my authority. When you look at all this stuff, and I'm only hitting kind of the big things going on, there's certainly a lot of other stuff going on in America and in the rest of the world. I don't see how anyone can see this and say, man, I need to get serious about this. Folks, it's time to kind of get yourselves really stocked up. I think what I would be doing over the next few days is making sure my stuff is topped off, especially things like fuel. If a conflict happens with Russia, I would say that one of the first things they do, and it may not even take a conflict, if we put some pretty harsh sanctions on them over them recognizing the independence of eastern Ukraine, they could kind of do their thing and cutting us off from their oil supply, and we do get quite a bit of oil from them. And so if that happens, that's going to cause oil prices to skyrocket pretty quickly. It's nothing, I don't think it would be anything to see at least $7 a gallon here in the United States if Russia does that. So certainly start topping off on that and stocking up on that. Of course, gasoline doesn't last too long, but I mean, you can at least get 6 months out of it or more. So that's something that I'd be stocking up on. Other foods, certainly be doing that, because there's no indication whatsoever that food prices are going to go down anytime soon. There's a lot of belief that this year's droughts will be even worse than last year. And if that is the case, the harvests are going to be even worse than they were. On top of not having the fertilizer that they need, on top of trucking, possible delays in trucking because of protests, and then just the general supply chain problems that's been happening for over a year now. So are you starting to kind of put it all together, folks? I hope you are. The reason why I'm repeating this stuff all the time, some people are okay with it and some of you complain about it, but there's a reason for it. I'm trying to get the message through that now more than ever is the time to stock up and to get yourself ready. There's reports that a lot of these food suppliers, especially emergency food prices, are going to start going up in price. I can't confirm that, but I wouldn't doubt it. It would make sense to me with everything that's going on. And what's the negative in the end if you do all this? You spend a little money on things that you're going to normally spend money on anyways. You've just kind of done it all at once. You've cut back in certain areas. You've made some sacrifices, if nothing else, temporarily in your life, so that you can put all your resources and money and time into getting yourselves prepared. And if a couple of months go by, 6 months go by, and nothing happens, well, you don't have to buy as much groceries for a while, or you don't have to buy as much gasoline for a while. I mean, that's basically the worst side of it. So it's time to get serious, folks. The possibility of this happening in Ukraine, I was one of the ones in the beginning that didn't think it was really going to happen, that it was all smoke and mirrors for something, and I do believe that it still is. I do believe that it is a distraction for a lot of things that's going on, but there's no reason to discount it as not a possibility of war, especially that it's gone this far. It is appearing in every sense of the way that it's lining it up for some type of actual conflict. And as we all know, that's going to have global ramifications. Eventually it's going to trickle down to us here in the United States, and we're going to feel it. We're going to feel the effects of that. And if America goes too far in sanctions and support of Ukraine, we could easily see things like massive cyber attacks by Russia here in the United States, even to the point of affecting our grid. Russia has gotten quite good at that over the years, and I think that would be an easy target for them. So folks, get ready, prepare yourselves, stock up as much as you can, get your houses in order, because things are rapidly changing around the planet, and eventually, at least something eventually is going to start really negatively affecting us here in the homeland. All right, folks, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.